In 1860, Mother Mary Angela sent her sisters to their missions throughout Poland and other parts of Eastern Europe, telling them how to live with one another using these words.
The sisters will try to preserve among themselves a unity, peace, love, and kindness. All the sisters should be everything to one another, meek, pleasant, patient, and not excusing themselves from any sacrifice.
Mother Angela's words also reminded the sisters how they were to treat all those people they were called to serve.
They should help everyone with advice, compassion, work, favors, and prayers. They should have understanding for the children, watching over them with care. Towards the sick, they should show patience and care. They should console them, teach them, bear with them patiently, take care of their needs.
These were the words these 5 women carried in their hearts as they traveled from Warsaw, Poland to Polonia, Wisconsin in North America. Arriving at sundown on November 20th, 1874, on a horse-drawn cart. It was only 9 years after the end of the Civil War. Ulysses S. Grant had just begun his second term as President of the United States, and there were only 37 states in the Union. Because their telegram from Chicago had not arrived, no one was expecting the sisters. Accommodations had to be made quickly. The pastor, Father Joseph Dabrowski, moved in with some parishioners, offering the sisters his rectory as their temporary home. 2 weeks later, on December 3rd, 1874, they opened a 2-room school in the rectory, their temporary convent. 30 children enrolled the first day. Eventually, these numbers swelled to 90 students. As the days went on, the numbers of young women drawn to religious life continued to grow. Mother Monica wrote in her chronicles,
"The first investiture of novices took place on November 21st, 1876. The postulants completed 8 days of retreat, and then this most beloved and most important solemnity was held. Many young children attended our school. Many young girls joined the aspirancy. Our most kind pastor instructed them and the postulants, teaching them church history, world history, arithmetic, geography, and drawing."
The sisters experienced the first impact of the immigration influx. In May 1877, an urgent plea from Father Candidas Kozłowski, a Capuchin priest, requested sisters to staff the school in LaSalle, Illinois. Mother Monica sent 2 professed sisters and a postulant to St. Hyacinth's Parish in LaSalle, about 100 miles southwest of Chicago. In the meantime, a greater and greater need arose for care for Polish orphans from around the country. The Felicians recognized this serious need, and by October 1878, they built and opened St. Casimir Orphanage, also in LaSalle. In 1878, the sisters were also staffing St. Stanislaus School in Bay City, Michigan. In 1879, they added St. Adalbert School in Detroit, Michigan, and in 1880, St. Mary's School in Otis, Indiana. In 1881, St. Stanislaus School in Buffalo, New York, and in 1882, Mother of Perpetual Help School in Chicago, Illinois. Also in 1882, St. Stanislaus School in Shamokin, Pennsylvania. From Polonia to Detroit and across other American cities, the sisters mobilized their teaching apostolate. However, that did not deter them from their ministry to the aging and to orphans. In 1887, they opened St. Mary's Home for the Aged in Manitowoc, Wisconsin, and St. Mary Orphanage. The senior living and healthcare ministry continues even today on this same and expanded site as Felician Village. In the foundress's biography, Mother Angela, Her Victory, it is stated,
"The life of Felicians can never be one of compromises. Neither action nor prayer, but the will of God is their exclusive vocation. If the Lord Jesus wills it and calls them elsewhere to spread His glory in a world of activities, they will leave with joy."
In 1877, the Polonia Foundation was formed into the first American province, with Mother Mary Monica as provincial superior. As the congregation continued to extend its apostolate to more distant states, in 1882, the sisters decided to transfer their mother house to Detroit, a more centralized location. With the transfer of the provincial house, the Felician sisters entered a challenging period of their formative growth in North America. The little mission begun in 1874 by the 5 pioneer sisters in rural Wisconsin developed into a permanent and flourishing foundation, necessitating the establishment of a second North American province by 1900. Vocations grew so rapidly that by 1900 there were more Felicians in the United States than in Poland. The seed had been planted in Polonia. The tree began to grow and blossom. In its new location in Detroit, the province named the Presentation of the Blessed Virgin Mary developed rapidly, eventually moving to its present location in Livonia, Michigan. In August 1900, plans for the division of the Detroit province were finalized. 156 sisters and 18 houses marked the establishment of Immaculate Heart of Mary Province in Buffalo, New York. These 18 houses and their apostolates spanned the states of New York, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Massachusetts, Delaware, and New Jersey. A decade later, the congregation looked westward. Within this region, Felician missions flourished in Michigan, Illinois, Wisconsin, Missouri, and Indiana, with 3 rural schools in Nebraska. In 1910, a western province was sanctioned. The headquarters of Mother of Good Counsel Province was established in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. In 1927, the provincial house relocated to Chicago. Of the 24 Felician houses in the East, 62% were situated within the state of New Jersey. It was the 1907 wave that created dense settlements of Polish immigrants coming from Eastern Europe and remaining along the shores of the Atlantic from Maine to Maryland. These circumstances led to the founding of the Immaculate Conception Province in Lodi, New Jersey in 1913. Increased enrollment in the Pittsburgh and surrounding parochial schools necessitated the missioning of more sisters from Detroit to the tri-state area encompassing western Pennsylvania, Ohio, and West Virginia, thus laying the groundwork for yet another expansion. Our Lady of the Sacred Heart Province began in McKeesport, Pennsylvania in 1921, eventually moving to Coraopolis, Pennsylvania. The General Chapter of 1932 commissioned the Lodi province to implement the mandate on its division into another province. The neat suburban town of Enfield, Connecticut was chosen. It exhibited the character of a thriving rural community. Moreover, it was the center of the New England rectangle of Felician missions, and its proximity to New York enabled the provincial boundaries to extend beyond the Hudson River into the eastern counties of New York State. Thus, Our Lady of the Angels Province was established in 1932. The Oklahoma Territory was a stronghold of Southern Baptist culture. Anti-Catholic sentiment prevailed. However, despite religious prejudice, Oklahoma became a diocese in 1905. In the 1930s and 40s, the provinces established missions in Texas, California, and Oklahoma. Chicago responded to the Passionist Fathers' call for assistance, breaking their tradition of apostolic service to Catholic people of Polish descent. The Chicago province began to map out the essentials for the establishment of a Western province. Meanwhile, the post-war problems in Poland loomed over the general administration. Overwhelmed by the chaotic demands of the Soviet regime in Poland, the superior general realized that the Felician Generalate in Krakow could no longer function effectively for an international congregation. She decided to take immediate action to relocate before political interference would precipitate a crisis. The Provisional Felician Generalate was temporarily located in Ponca City, Oklahoma from March 1950 until 1953, when it relocated permanently to Rome, Italy. The Assumption of the Blessed Virgin Mary Province began in Ponca City in 1953 in the vacated Generalate compound. The headquarters of the Assumption Province moved to Rio Rancho, New Mexico in 1976. The Felician Apostolate expanded beyond the limits of the United States when a request came in 1937 to the Buffalo Province for sisters to teach Christian doctrine in the Polish language at St. Stanislaus Parish in Toronto, Ontario. This soon expanded to include a child care center to serve the families of the working class. Sisters from Detroit offered their services in Windsor, Ontario, expanding westward into Manitoba and Saskatchewan. In 1953, the Vice Province of Holy Name of Mary was established in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada. Its official status as a province was proclaimed by the 19th General Chapter in 1988. Responding to the signs of the times and building new relationships with lay partners, the Felician Sisters in North America began more than a decade of study and preparations for the merging of personnel and resources as they moved from 8 separate provinces into one. So began the next part of the Felician Sisters' journey in North America, as Our Lady of Hope Province established in 2009 in Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania. We are confident that the charism of Blessed Mary Angela and the mission of the Felician Sisters will continue in North America.
Be assured that as the mother of the congregation, I will always keep in my heart a deep love and gratitude for the North American province.